My phone on, huh?
Well, either when my kid calls me,
Okay.
no,
Now you're ready.
now or Saturday, whichever comes first.
Okay, now you're live.
All right, I'm called over to the Town Board meeting at the Town of Lisbon Town Hall on Monday, January 13th, 2020 at 6:35 p.m. Roll call, please.
Present Chairman Joe Osterman.
Here.
Supervisors Tadia Gamino.
Here.
Mark Moonen.
Here.
Linda Beal.
Here.
Also present Gina Gresh, Administrator here. Fire Chief Doug Brom and Public Works Director Joe DeStefano Jr.
The camera.
Oh. Gotta do everything.
Right. All right, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. A moment of silence, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 is comments from citizens present. Anybody wish to make any comments? All right. Item 4 is the consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda are considered in one motion unless a town board member requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda. We've got the December 9th, 2019 town board meeting minutes, operators licenses, resolution 01-20, a resolution approving the Lake Country Municipal Court budget, the release of surety bond for Bill Chris Landscaping, the release of surety bonds for Osblick, and a Class A retail liquor license for Casey's General Store, number 3710 at North 56 West 22100 Silver Spring Drive, for Heidi Marseilles. I think I said that right, as the agent. Does anyone have a motion on the consent agenda, or do you want anything removed?
I'll make a motion.
Moved by Tadia to approve. Is there a second? Second. Second by Mark. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Approval of bills.
All right, tonight's accounts payable. We have a total of $184,528.19. Top 5 expenditures, $67,545.12 to advance disposal for December garbage and recycling collection. $33,388.50 at Kunkel Engineering for Harvest Bridge inspections, communications, Lake 5 Path grant work, and work on the TID district. $16,500 is for Osblick surety bond release. $15,167.68 to One Click Computers for all of the computer and server upgrades. $12,849.24 to New Vision Homes for the Richmond Fire Station Training Center construction.
All right, questions or comments on the bills?
Are we done with One Click Computers? Or do we owe them more money?
Well, every month we pay them our usual stuff, but this was the major upgrade that we talked about in budget that we were using a lot of the carryover funds for. But yeah, that's the bill for it.
Did that come in on budget?
Yep.
Good. Okay. No more questions.
Is anyone ready to make a motion on the bills?
I make a motion to accept the bill as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mark. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Now we have the announcements and correspondence. The meeting schedule. Still Mark for a second here. 15th of January, we have the sanitary district meeting here at 6:30 at the town hall. That's the correct date, right, Linda?
Correct, and the
Okay.
time. Please note the time.
6:30.
We moved it up.
Yes.
Early meeting.
I know.
Wow.
That's permanent, right?
Yes. We have all of our 12 months set up now for the next year.
Nice. The 19th will be the park committee meeting at 6:30 at the Richard Young Fire Station.
I don't think so.
No?
No?
I have 2. I think it's the 20th.
All right, about the 20th.
Yeah.
Whoops, you don't want to meet on Sunday?
So the 20th on Monday will be the park committee meeting at 6:30 at the Richard Young Fire Station. And then the 27th will be the next town board meeting here at the town hall at 6:30. And then on the 10th of February will be the next meeting after that for the town board. And then on the 13th of February will be the voting. What's the
Absentee voting.
absentee voting starting on February 13th, and then the Plan Commission meeting at 6:30 at the Town Hall, and then the next board meeting I don't know, absentee voting again on the 14th. We have that listed.
Yep,
I'm
that's
assuming
the
it's-
last day. Yep.
That's the last day. 4 days?
No, it's the first day that it starts in the office and then the last day.
Okay.
So it's about 2 weeks or whenever we get the ballots.
All right. Does anyone else have any announcements or correspondence to note on for meetings or anything? We have the 2019 Assessor Year in Review also in here, and the Lake 5 Railroad crossing safety improvements, and the Winterfest event flyer.
Which didn't print out very well.
Saturday, February 1st at our main park from 1 to 4 p.m. Anything else to note for that?
No, there's going to be chilling on the bars and little stuff too, hopefully ice skating, but who knows how the weather has been.
All right.
That winter time or snow or cold?
I don't know. No, I think after last year, it's not rain or shine or cold. It is weather dependent, but hopefully weather safe.
Is that alternate date? Or is it still on?
I think it's them or I don't know.
Item 7 is department reports. The administrator report.
All right, a few things for you. OneClick has migrated the town's website from the Civic Plus server to their own. So if you've been on the town's website, you'll notice it looks a little bit different. So we're making smaller changes rather than one big change and launching a whole new site. So it's a new platform called WordPress, and I need to learn how to post and make adjustments. And then once I learn how to do it, then I can teach others in the office. It's a lot easier to use than Civic Plus was, and it's much more customizable. So if you go on the site and you scroll down, you'll see the What's New and Exciting area, which actually highlights things like Winterfest and, voting's coming up and the ice rink is closed. And the nice thing with this site is when I post things in the What's New and Exciting, it automatically sends an email to everybody that has signed up for those things. So before, the old site didn't do that. Functionality is going to improve as well as the look. I'm actually really excited to see how this progresses into a more user-friendly and interactive site than what we have now.
WordPress is really personal.
I'm finding that out. Yeah, it's easy to use, but there's a lot of different ways to do the same thing, and that's what I'm trying to learn. Year-end tasks are going very well this year. 1099s were completed on January 7th. We anticipate having W-2s completed by the end of this week. And while Natasha and I are going through those processes, we're creating a how-to guide on all the year-end tasks. So if anybody ever needs to pick up the book and do them, there's easy-to-read, color-coded instructions on how to balance the taxes and look for this on 1099s and W-2s and retirement so that anybody can pick it up and do it. So then we'll have another cross-training item accomplished. And the December ACH auto-pay monthly checklist is included for your review.
Any questions for Gina? Thank you, Gina.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Is there a clerk report?
Yes, I can read that too. This is from Rick. As most of you already know, there will not be a local primary election for the supervisor position. Incumbents Linda Beal and Tadia Gamino have filed for another term. We've already been receiving a steady stream of absentee ballot requests as to several inquiries on the new polling location and no complaints on it, which is awesome. So that's good. The work schedule for the poll workers is complete and the training dates are set. They're going to be next week. Even though the primary election is only 5 weeks out, we've already started on the April election. And Rick is looking forward to working with Natasha and training her on the clerk's duties. We're getting all the year-end stuff done and tax collection refunds done first before we transition her into clerk stuff because there's just too much going on with her regular position right now. He's enjoyed his time so far, and he's looking for a productive 6 months with the town, and thanks everyone for the warm and inviting welcome, and he fits in great in the office. That's it.
All right.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Public Works Department.
Hello all, Happy New Year. December was relatively quiet, I guess.
Thank you.
I could say. We went out 5 times for winter weather events. Obviously it's picked up again last week and it should be a steady week here. Yeah, and Lisbon and Merton, we got salt delivered, pushed up in our shed, kept that stocked up. Obviously, after every event we wash the trucks and keep them clean and throw the salt up. We finished snow fence throughout the month of December. We did potholes that needed to be filled. We also helped out in the village of Merton had a center road the edge salted off, so kind of mutual aid there. We helped them out a little bit and patched that and shouldered it for them. We installed signposts and signs in the Harvest Bridge subdivision, which is in development off Highway K. We cut trees throughout town, which there was a benefit of not having snow because there are a lot of trees that in the town, more than we even get to really, but we keep chipping away at it. So that helped. We got that done, and now we kind of switch gears to snow a little bit. And while it was dry, we did culvert inspections on the roads that were planning to be paved this year. Got that out of the way, and then between that, the guys perform maintenance, PMs, and all that on trucks and building maintenance and whatnot. I personally attended the board meeting here tonight. I have my monthly meeting, Washington County Public Works Association. I assisted the village of Sussex. We had a Christmas tree come out of his neighbor and taken over to Sussex for their Christmas tree. So I think we generally do annually help them with our excavator to set it on a trailer. With the association that I'm part of, we needed some snow fence, so I threw an email out there because snow fences, wooden, and rods, whatever. We were looking for something out there. Town of Milwaukee over at Peterson, the guy who had 25 rolls, so they didn't use them, $1. It just got paid for it, so we got 25 rolls per buck. Generally, that'd be like $40 a roll if we went 7 hours. I mean, if you want to know, this was not new, but it got the job done and it got us through. That was nice. It worked out well being in that. I attended a crisis craft training event at Washington County Communications, which is a basically computer-based, web-based, app-based program where, heaven forbid, we have a natural disaster or something in town, and it's a way to track things and map stuff, and you can send guys out and they can have this area where they look at homes or roads or whatever, you know, it may be. It's one of those things, unfortunately, you do, and let's hope you never use it, right? But if you do, you got to kind of be refreshed. But it's a cool thing that they're working on implementing throughout the county, so it'll be nice. Met with Payne and Dolan. I took a little tour of our new compost site. It's not done, obviously, but the area and all that, so I can tell with that. So it's moving along. I will keep talking about that more as we get closer to spring. Kind of switch gears to 2020. Spent a lot of time just getting myself ready and cleared up and still working on that, obviously, finishing off 2019. Just say thank you to everybody that got the Christmas party put together. We had a good time with staff, and my guys had a blast, so it was very fun. And then I obviously been helping the trees, plowing, doing my office stuff. About that.
Any questions for Joe?
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And I made a supervisor report. Does anyone have anything to report at this time?
No, we have our next meeting this Wednesday night. I'll have more at the next meeting.
All right. Anyone else?
Stick.
Great. All right. Item 9 is unfinished business. A, discussion and necessary action on the request from David and Kim Meyer for a variance from the Town of Lisbon Fire Code, Section 34.20, Parent E, regarding automatic sprinkler systems. Kathy is standing by for a call if we need her. So if anybody wants, we can make that call, or if the memo has been enough information for you. Linda, you want to Kathy on the line, or do you feel like that memo is giving you enough info?
Well, I just wanted to double check that if we've had something like that without the necessary fire equipment there, and someone sues them, they're automatically going to sue us, and we're liable because we approved no fire equipment.
Okay, cool.
Does anybody else have that concern?
Well, I think that this memo says that we're not liable. It won't stop somebody from suing us. It wouldn't stop us, no matter whether we're liable or not. They can sue us.
Yes.
We can incur costs to have to defend that and argue that that we're not liable. I mean, I guess still more concerned about the people aspect and prospect of people being hurt than the liability. But I think that the lawyer's saying that we would not be liable so long as all of these requirements are met if we decide to bring it.
Do you have any questions that you told me to ask her, Linda? It's no big deal. She's ready for a call.
I mean, have you talked to her about this personally?
What?
And what does she say?
What's in the memo?
Okay.
I mean, she's gone over things just like you said. Anybody can sue anybody for any reason. It's just a matter of.
I know. Can we put something in if it's approved that the owner is, if we get sued and they can reimburse us for our costs? Yes.
Well, that doesn't necessarily reimburse us for our costs.
Okay.
That says that they're agreeing they're not going to say it's our fault as well, and they agree to their liability, but it doesn't reimburse us for our costs if we're sued. I mean, again, I'm less worried about being sued than potential for harm to people in a barn without adequate fire response system. So I'm more concerned with what Doug and his feeling of confidence is sufficient. Yeah, at some point, I don't know, we'll let Joe run his meeting, but.
We'd like you to.
Well, I did talk with the attorney. We did talk about it, and
Can you put the microphone on the table for him?
To be honest, I don't think
Or never mind.
you're liable for any decision you make here. I just don't think. They clearly state that if they write this letter of remedy and they have this agreement that if you decide to give them the variance, that they're not going to be responsible.
No, my question to you though is, do you feel these are adequate safety provisions?
I think if they
Kathy.
all of the things required that we put in the letter that we submitted the last time.
I can hear. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
All right, Doug is just explaining some safety aspects of it right now.
Okay.
Hi, Doug.
So I said the fire department agreed that if the board and the building inspector agree to this, as long as all of those items that are met that Matt Burns and myself put together, that we would probably be able to do that. They have to prove that the expense of a sprinkler system is too much money for their business, and they apply for the variance and do all of the things that we listed in that last letter, and perform all of those things and get all those plans and improvements done. I would much prefer a sprinkler building, but if they're going to get a variance, if they're going to talk about reasons why not to, if all these other things are performed, I think it would be.
Is this the only structure in the town of Lisbon that does not have the proper fire equipment?
No, because at different various times in history, the codes were all different.
Okay.
So there are buildings that have that kind of occupancy and that kind of assembly, larger even, that are not sprinkled. But everything after a certain date that's been built is sprinkled. So like the strip mall up on Highway 2 is sprinkled. The maintenance building at Austin is sprinkled. There's the new Boise concrete is all sprinkled. High school is sprinkled. The middle school is sprinkled. So I mean, we have a lot of sprinkled buildings that have no municipal water.
Sure.
I mean, you can sprinkle a building without municipal water.
Sure.
So, but like I'm saying, if you want to grant the variance, the fire department will go along with it as long as all these other things.
And you're confident that's an equal amount of safety protection?
I think there's a lot of safety precautions here. Do I think it's equal as if the building is sprinkled?
Is there anything that would make it equal to a building being sprinkled? It isn't sprinkled.
Well, that's what it is. But if they can't afford it and it's going to be a temporary use and all these other things are met, it would be a fairly safe operation. And there's other buildings now that aren't sprinkled that they chasing over there and having a lot of incidents.
I see one of the restrictions on this is 2-foot candles, not less than 2-foot candles. I know it's a wedding venue, but can they be required to have the ones that are on battery operated rather than real candles?
We would not allow real candles.
Pardon me?
We would not allow real candles.
But it says in here that you can't, that it's conditioned. Okay. I just don't think it should have real candles.
Then feel free to put that condition on there too. That
Mhm.
it doesn't seem like it's already.
No.
Are you going to have a fireplace in this barn?
Are you reading from number 5 on page 2 of?
Yes.
Doug, is that, I didn't see that as actual like
Candle.
candles, like tabletop candles. I think that's meant to mean something else.
With a term
That's
of art.
actually that is the rating of the exit lights illumination. So
Okay.
candle power.
Right.
It's not candle.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying, otherwise, are there going to be candles allowed? You
There's
just said
actually
that,
another-
but it's not.
There's no permitting for open flame anymore.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, that's actually just a rating on the brightness of the
Exit. Okay.
I think the flame thing is addressed in
Yeah,
3.7.
Okay.
Well, it says flame warmers, and it doesn't speak to any of them.
I mean, that does bring up some, I don't know if there's going to be DJing, I'm assuming, inside the barn. Any live bands, pyrotechnics.
Definitely not that.
But I mean, this could be, I guess, to Linda's point, I mean, that's how a lot of those people died over, I think, I don't know where it was, down in Florida or wherever it was, there's some pyrotechnics that started. And
And how about smoking? Am I missing?
Outside.
No smoking inside at all.
Not at all.
Can we put those in?
Yeah. I think if you want to put those conditions on, you can still put them on there.
Mhm.
Only give you time. You can ask Kathy. She's on the phone, but I guess you
Is that not addressed in the town fire code though?
could.
Or does it have to be more of like a?
Isn't that state
Smoking's a
statute?
statute.
I mean, if you feel comfortable, put it in there. It doesn't hurt, just
Yes.
to remind people.
Yes.
Yeah, this is like no smoking in public places.
Then they can tell some of their customers. Okay.
Kathy, on this, we're allowed to be more restrictive than state fire code, correct? Within
Sure.
this consideration?
Sure.
I think so.
so with this, I mean, as far as putting together, I mean, granting the variance, I mean, should we come up with a plan with everything and then grant it, or is this something where we make a motion to approve it contingent upon?
I think if you're going to grant the variance, we've got the detailed listing from Doug's the fire department. I think you do it based on his comments as well as the building inspectors, and any additional comments the town board feels should be added. For example, no pyrotechnics, no smoking, whatever else the town board comes up with. And the variance would be granted upon completion of those action items that are, in particular, Chief Brown's one. The action items relative to smoking and pyrotechnics are obviously not action items, but the variance is contingent on all those things occurring and confirmation and verification being presented to the town staff or the designee of the town board.
Okay.
They won't, if they submit all the plans and build the building and build it out to all these specifications and they don't comply, they don't get an occupancy permit. It's like any other.
And if they use the structure without an occupancy permit, we will shut them down and issue citations.
Pretty much like any other construction project.
Right. Does it sound like something you still want to do?
Reason it's very reasonable. Those are things I would never allow pyrotechnics.
Can you come up to the mic, please?
I would like to get together with the team and Matt and go through all the things to be sure what we're talking about, because there's a few that we're not sure of. But I would love
No fireworks?
Not just in this one. And smoking outside.
In a designated spot? Maybe in a
Oh.
designated spot? Could you do that?
I mean,
I think-
we could try for that, I don't know.
Well, not within so many feet of the building, maybe,
Right.
but I don't think you could tell when they can only.
Okay.
I guess I don't know.
I think you could probably designate a smoking area.
Yeah, it doesn't
But most taverns, fire
Bars do,
stations,
yeah.
have some area outside where there's adequate containers and things.
places for them to sit and just enjoy the outside and not like over.
Okay.
Were we saying no open flame, or was it okay with no flame warmers? Is that sufficient?
Number 7, under 3.
You can add a sentence in there, nobody complain of any kind.
On property. Maybe?
On the property,
Well, lighting cigarettes and open flame.
Right, right,
So-
that's true, that's true.
yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, you can have maintenance to do on something, they might have to have.
Right, well, yeah.
They do live there also if they want to have a camp,
Campfire outside.
Right.
Or things that-
I believe we could just amend 3 sub 7 to just say no open flames shall be used in the original barn structure.
Right.
Oh, within so many feet of it, too. 50 feet for a party, but for maintenance different?
But I mean, if they're outside the barn structure with some of these warmers, do you want to restrict that?
I don't like the idea that it'd be right next to the barn.
But they could legally have a bonfire on their property according to the town fire code.
But those codes already state how far away from structures they have to be.
Oh, okay.
And the wind can't be more than 10 miles, and they have to have water, they gotta be able to control extinguish it.
Okay.
You can't have anything larger than 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot after dark. I mean, those are pretty regulated. Bonfires and campfires.
So you are comfortable with this, with the changes that we just talked about right there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Again, I'll make a motion that we approve David and Kim Meyer's request for a variance regarding automatic sprinkler systems with all of the listed provisions.
Is there a second?
With all of the listed provisions of Doug's letter dated December 6th and our amendments. Second. As well as,
Attorney memorandum from January 10th.
that doesn't set out,
It
Things
says that
they-
they have to do with a letter.
as well as any requirements, as cited by, attorney Van Kuhn or Guten, whose memo dated January 10th, 2020.
Is there a second? A second.
What date is Doug's letter?
December 6th. Kathy, does that meet everything we need?
I thought I heard Supervisor indicate Doug Brown's letter. Did we reference that by date?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to verify we had it by date so we know in the minutes what we're talking about.
You, as far as, I mean, so then at that point it would be the building inspector. Well, it says the satisfaction of the town board, the building inspector, the fire prevention bureau, and the Myers must provide such and such in this one. I mean, do we want a town board representative at that point to just give the final okay?
I think would be okay. You want to amend it to have that, it's okay, but I think I'd
Or
be
just put it
okay
in the
as long
hands
as
of the-
Doug and the inspector have signed off on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
But feel free to vote down my motion if others disagree.
Everybody comfortable?
Yes.
Kathy, you like it?
Yep.
I'm fine.
Any discussion?
Yes.
I would just note that page 2, after Chief Ram signs his letter is actually from the Fire Marshal, Matt Mertens. I'd like to add that into.
I think my motion should be amended to include all of the notes from listed Fire Marshal Matt Mertens that's attached to Doug Braun's letter. I didn't notice it.
Second, okay with that. So,
Could we also add the change of number 37?
no open flames in the building.
Mm-hmm. So I think my motion was intended to include all of the changes that we discussed.
And we don't have to make reference to smoking or anything like that?
We discussed them tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
The second is okay with that. In agreement? Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Are you welcome, everybody? Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Item B, discussion necessary action to place the order for the new lockers for the DPW locker room from Axiom. Oh, you know what? I crossed A off here. I'm sorry. Discussion necessary action on the 2020 grinding bid for compost site, brush, and yard waste.
Good. Alright, so this is annually, we've obviously been on this for before. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what we're going to do here. The thing I guess I would just bring up is that Waukesha Landscape Supply is still doing it for a very reasonable rate, and I just don't foresee that lasting forever. But, okay, we'll take a look there. So, as you can see, he was at $80,000 to grind all the material, all the way a majority of the month we like to do because it's use it, and if we need more for residents, we can grind throughout summer. So it's not like we'll never have enough. So it's pretty much a no-brainer here for $8,000 in comparison to 12, 13, 15, 14,000. So if any questions, feel free. But we did this last year with this company, and it is a little slower, I'll say, than possibly the other two because the machine isn't exactly the top-notch one, but a couple days longer and save that kind of money. It's kind of you can't beat it yet. So. And I'll end up renting a loader, which I kind of wrote down at the bottom. But we have $16,200 budgeted in this contracted services account for the compost site, and the rental for the loader at most maybe $2,000 on top of the 8 to 10. That still leaves us with 6 throughout the year to grind for mulch or something if we needed it for residents.
All right.
Okay.
I'll put a motion forward to approve the Waukesha Landscape Supply LLC contract in the amount of $8,000 for 2020 grinding bid.
Awesome.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Now, item B, discussion necessary action to place the order for new lockers for the DPW locker room from Axiom.
All right, we budgeted $23,000 in the budget workshop. The approved budget for 2020 for the upgrades to the DPW office between floors, lockers. We're going to do a lot of it, as much as we can on our own, so like ceiling tile lighting and stuff like that. That'll be all custy stuff I can do. This is just one of the big ticket items that I brought it to you guys. I like to bring things to you guys over $5,000. I think to be a little more transparent, obviously. So that's why I did this. And yes, I do always make an attempt to get multiple quotes when I get like that. This is just a local company. When you reach out and look online for lockers in this area, it's just, they're not, it's not like a car dealership, so it's just tougher. Axiom is right here in Waukesha, 164. Really good company. Now that I've dealt with them a little, their customer service is outstanding. They've been around for 32 years. The woman that came is very helpful with me and got it all laid out nice. So we did 2 banks of 3 lockers right now. And these are almost double, well, 1.5 times bigger than what we currently have. They're just, the guys have, their bibs and their coats and their this and that and their stuff in there. So what's going to work out nice is our old lockers are going to keep and actually put them out in the shop area, and that'll be mostly their shop stuff, and then we'll have the nice lockers inside for their coats and whatnot. So everybody's excited because it's just getting tight in there. So this is kind of what we laid out. I've been talking to Mark a little bit on emails, and he's seen some of the drawings, and there's not a whole lot to it. It's lockers. And then what the plan is, potentially, obviously, we all know in the future here, we'll probably see another guy in the DPW in the next 5 years, I would assume. And this is, we can get another 3 bank, and we already have the area in that room for it. So it'd be like 1 3 bank on one wall, another wall, and then another wall. So it's kind of, we're already set up to do that down the road. For no reason, I'd rather save some of the money and use it for other stuff now. And just get the 6 for the 5 of the full-timers and my 1 part-time bank. So it works out well. So I guess question. I mean, lifetime warranty with them, Wisconsin, that's Bay Sabers in Fort Atkinson. They're probably one of the top-notch locker companies and any kind of stuff like that. They make up plenty of stuff. But they've been around, 48 years, and it's all lifetime warranty. As long as we install it, that was the only catch, which is fine. So she's got that working to that number. And they're getting on their black and vented, and they had document holder and hangers and that. Yeah.
Any questions from the board?
I'd like a motion to approve the new lockers for the DPW locker room for a not to exceed total of $9,080.28 with Axiom, AXIOM, incorporated out of Waukesha.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, John. Item C is discussion and necessary action on the recommendation from the Plan Commission for the request for Jeremy Rush for the property located at North 72 West 24740 Good Hope Road, tax key LSBT 0203.994.005 for a conditional use permit for a bed and breakfast.
All right, this request is for a traditional bed and breakfast establishment in the Rush's home. The applicant's home dates back to 1846. The rental unit is located in the top floor of the attached converted barn above the already approved in-law suite. Guests are provided on-site parking, and the conditional use permit was reviewed and approved by the Plan Commission on November 14th, 2019, and by the Lisbon Sussex JPC on December 18th, 2019, and is ready for approval. Once it's signed, it will be recorded with the Waukesha County Register of Deeds.
Any questions? I'll make the motion that we approve the request from Jeremy Rush for the property located at North 72 West 24740 Good Hope Road for a conditional use permit for a bed and breakfast.
I second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item D is discussion and necessary action to appoint an emergency management coordinator.
Last week we received an email from Wisconsin Emergency Management asking us for an updated list of our municipal emergency managers. We do not have one listed for the town with that group. It is a requirement of Wisconsin Administrative Code 323 to have an emergency manager listed. However, the town had appointed Bob Zimmerman at one point a number of years ago, but he recently passed away. So while we work to find a replacement, I recommend appointing Fire Chief Doug Brahm as the interim, and he has agreed to do so.
So how long do we have to appoint an actual?
She didn't tell me, but sooner the better. Come up, Doug.
So, we haven't had an emergency manager that's actually been active for a while. And the town absolutely needs one. And it really shouldn't be the fire chief, it shouldn't be the police chief, it should be, when something happens in the town that's going to be a large incident scale, you really need, the fire chief's going to have his job, the police chief's going to have his job, the DPW director's going to have his job. It really needs to be somebody separate that has the knowledge on how to work with the county emergency government and the state. And they should have HIMSS 100, 200, 400, 300, 400 classes taken so they know how to come and set up an incident command center, how to get financing, how to get all kinds of resources moving, how to keep up our management book all up to date with all the numbers and resources. You really need to have somebody that's committed to this, that has and wants to go to those classes and take those. 100 and 200, I think you can take online. We can teach them, as all firefighters have 100 and 200. Most of us have 300 and 400. But you really need to have somebody that has gone through those classes, knows how to set up an emergency command center, knows how to write the grants, write all the documentation, keep the money coming from the federal government. sooner the better, obviously, we should try to find a candidate for that. There's probably a lot of people.
Well, we'll have to find somebody. I don't know what else to say to that. But in the interim, I would move that we approve our Fire Chief Doug Brum as the Emergency Management Coordinator.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Doug, you are the Emergency Management Coordinator. You pick up your new hat tomorrow morning. It's huge. Huge. Item E, discussion and necessary action to adopt the updated job descriptions for the Town Hall, DPW, and Parks Department employees.
I'll take a motion in a second. All right. Well, we've been working on these in the office. We've got everything approved and reviewed by all the department heads. Staff has updated it as to what they're actually doing compared to what the old job description said. The labor attorney has reviewed everything, and everybody is comfortable with what their job description states. And we're just looking for any changes or questions from the board.
Well, I went through them. I mean, seems like some of it seems pretty detailed.
And you'll notice the fire department is not in here because that's an entirely separate project, which will be next. So,
On the town treasurer, it said additional tasks and responsibilities. Under there, it said bachelor's degree in public administration, public finance. I think it maybe just the header needs to be changed.
Oh, yep. What page?
I don't know, 2 of 5.
Change the header. Which, when it says bachelor's degree, we found it's not totally necessary because Amy doesn't have that and she picked it up very quickly. So,
is that something we want to, because that would be under like minimum training and experience required.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something we want to have in their bachelor's degree or just put bachelor's degree preferred? It does say preferred, I guess, yeah. So we just got to change the header to minimum training and experience required.
Okay.
So everybody been okay with all these in the job descriptions? Joe, as far as the DPW end of it, okay. Okay. Any other comments, or is anyone ready to make a motion on the job descriptions?
Is this only, or can we hit on this before, that when we hire someone toward the end of the year, then as of the first of the year, they get the standard that we usually give out.
That's in the handbook.
That'll be the handbook one.
Yep. Okay. Which we did address that.
Okay.
Yep, that's the handbook.
Okay.
Great work.
Wonderful work.
Thank you.
Does anyone want to make a motion on that great work?
I'll make a motion to approve the employee handbook, job descriptions, and new benefits manual. What is there a date on it?
Just effective today. I have to update all the revised dates.
Effective January 9th, 2020.
Today. That'll work.
13th.
Yep.
Second by Linda. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Will this be printed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to put it in a nice little booklet.
Okay.
Who seconded the motion?
I
Thank
did.
you. Okay. Yep, and then every employee's going to get, their job description, the benefits manual, the handbook, and then they have to sign a sheet that says they read it and they received it, and yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, good night. I'm out.
Item
Phew.
F, discussion necessary action to adopt the updated employee handbook.
Oh, wait, we just made a motion to do all three. Did you not?
No, I didn't include the handbook.
Oh, you did. You said handbook and manual.
Oh.
Did you say handbook? I thought
You
you
did.
said manual.
Okay, might want to change that.
No, I said benefits manual. Is that the same thing?
Nope, they're different.
I did say benefits. I said handbook, job description, and benefits manual. Sorry.
It's okay. Darn it. Thought that was too easy.
Got one.
So was the intention of the motion that this was just for the employee
Right.
The
job
jobs.
descriptions?
Okay.
And the
Right.
second was
I
that
mean,
under that understanding?
Yes. That's
So-
what I thought it was.
Darn it.
Sorry.
Everybody was
It's
under
okay.
that understanding?
Yes.
I was also.
Okay.
It was what?
That it was just the
Just the
employee
jobs.
Yes.
job descriptions.
Yeah.
Okay, because now we're going to go on to the updated employee handbook. E, discussion necessary action to adopt the updated employee handbook.
All right. All right. All right. So all of the staff, the department heads, myself, and the town attorney, the labor attorney, have all reviewed all of the changes. And I believe in November, I gave you guys a track changes version, and then tonight you just have the final version of it. We just need to plug in any approved dates. Mark had found a couple of minor typos, clarifications, so those were fixed, and we did address the, if you start after June 1st, you don't get the January raise because you're still on probation for 6 months anyway.
Exactly.
So then it happens after that
Okay.
with the next round.
Okay.
All of the benefits were taken out of the handbook and put in the benefits manual that was created by the Horton Group, who manages all of our insurance. So that's all of the standard stuff: vacation, WRS, dental, vision, all that good stuff. So a lot of it stayed the same from our prior manual. It's just a lot of the legalese had to be updated with reference to, drugs and alcohol. I can't think anymore. Your Family Medical Leave Act, your state, your federal laws. It was a lot of legal updates. But as far as what we're actually doing, that has stayed the same in the book.
I had a few things. On page 25 of 74, there was the 2-hour minimum call-in pay. And in here it's stating that we were doing time and a half for that. Now, I thought we had changes years ago to where it was just normal hourly wage. Obviously, if it goes to overtime, anything that counts as overtime is overtime, where it's the first hour or the last hour. But had they only worked like 30 hours in a week, but they came in for 2 hours, they were paying them standard wage for 2 hours. But I think that was a long time ago. That's in section,
Let's just say, what section is that? 5 point...
it'd be 5.06.
The way I
Sub
read
E.
your phone, I guess it would be like on a weekend or any time outside of their normal 7 to 2:30. So to me, what I always had that as, let's say they came in to hit the ski hill. I'll still get reimbursed for it, but I mean, let's say they came in one night. There's no knowledge, nothing else, and you one guy to go hit that because they're quarantined on the road. He would get 2 hours minimum pay, but it's overtime. If he's outside of the 7 to 2:30. I mean, I've always.
But see, that was the...
I didn't know, but I've always.
So after... outside the 3:30 mark was never supposed to be hour time and a half. That was the old union contract, but we had changed that years and years and years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was like 2011 or 2012 that was changed. I'm almost positive. I'd have to go back and see
So
where I
what
found
is... So the 2 hour is supposed to be...
Well,
I'm
are we
lost.
paying, like, if you come in at 7 o'clock at night, are we paying time and a half for people?
Anything outside of 7. I mean,
Like I said, whether it's the first hour or the last hour,
they'd get 40 hours in a regular time, and then they
Right.
get.
what if they only get 10 hours, like if they didn't work the whole week?
Exactly.
Then what are we doing? I don't think that happens real often.
No, in the winter, we don't, the policy is November 15th through December, March 15th, you kind of are married to the town. So then, obviously if it's a quiet week of weather and a guy doesn't have off, they have off. That doesn't come into play because if we didn't do anything, they took a day off. But generally, like a week when it's snowing, they're working 40 hours of straight time and then they're getting overtime.
Where this came into play was back a long time ago. So you worked all night. You started at, or let's say they came in at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
They worked from 3 to 7. They're getting paid time and a half, but then they were off. Yeah, I mean, you can't expect somebody to work 24/7.
Sure.
Then they were off in the afternoon. So there was times where employees were getting, like let's say it was a bad week, you'd get 30 hours of overtime and you get 20 hours of straight time.
I guess, yeah, that doesn't happen.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I'll be
No,
honest,
that's not
it
it.
has not happened since I've worked here personally. Even I think like back when Randy once in a while he would maybe leave. You know, like if Joe comes to saying we'd have snow at 3 in the morning. So at 7 o'clock you kind of switch to straight time, and that's what you had. What Joe's saying, if you only worked 8 hours and you went to noon or whatever, then you leave, you would consider that straight 8 hours. But nobody does that. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody stays till 3:30 now. We don't, just because there's plenty of stuff to do, and I don't even. I mean, if the guy would ask me, I'd say we could entertain something. But generally, the guy like today, we came in at 3, we stayed till 3. They stayed till 3.
So if that's the case, do we even need this language for time and a half then, though? Because if they're already putting in 40, it's the first or the last. It's going to be overtime.
Yeah.
We had discussed this a lot back in the day, I know, but
So explain to us what you decided at that point.
and I got to remember what was, this is a long time ago, mind you, but it was
Right.
actually during the Act 10 time when we were trying to figure out everything in the benefits package and everything. And things were a little different, obviously, because guys were going home. I mean, you could if we had 4 days of snowfall and it was all at night, you'd have overtime from 3 till 7 when they started, and then if they only worked, the rest, 4 more hours, you'd have 20 hours of regular time and the rest all be overtime. And that's where the issue was coming in.
Right.
It just doesn't. Yeah, I mean, since I've worked here as a crew guy, I mean, we come in at whenever in the morning, and I stay till 3:30. Everybody does. They just nobody wants to jeopardize their. Then you're giving up your. You just came in at 3. You're in your head. You're on option time and overtime, and then you leave at noon. It can't be right. So now you didn't gain nothing. So most guys will stay and will, clean up either for a plowing all day. Like today, we went till a little afternoon, and then we're in the truck, and there's plenty of mailbox. Then all of a sudden it's 3:30. So totally understand where Joe's coming from, but we just don't see that anymore. I mean,
Plus, it's time worked.
Right.
Right. So
But
it's
if it's not an issue, why do we even word it this way?
Yeah.
If it's
probably old school, like you said.
This was the old union contract.
And
I know
the other
exactly what
thing
this is.
I think we took it out, and I don't know if it's part of that how it broke down, but there was a 2-hour call-in always in the morning. So let's say it started snowing out of the blue type of thing, like we didn't see it, that happened once in a while because it wasn't, there's
come up to the mic. Oops.
So there's once in a while there'd be a caller where I'd come in and say, oh man, I got to get guys in a little earlier than 7, and then you get them in for 6. They were paid at 5. We took that out of it.
Right.
So now when they show up in the morning, whether it's 2 in the morning or 6:30, that's when they start their pay. We don't do that 2-hour call-in. This 2-hour call-in is strictly a random
Tree down.
Yeah, tree down, stopped and ran over. And if a guy's sitting at home or out to dinner with the wife or whatever, and all of a sudden you got to come in for an hour, it's a nice little benefit. Like you get 2 hours instead of just the 1.
Which we all agreed with. Even back in the day, we agreed with.
Yeah. As long as they understand that's what it is.
Right. What Joe's explaining was like if somebody came in at 6:30
They don't get
and they worked a half hour, they got paid for 2 hours, which was not how it was supposed. But that happened. That used to happen.
I believe it.
Really?
That's how it happened in a lot of communities still.
It was rare, but I mean, because you'd have to have an incident happen at 6:30 or something. But
generally, if I knew we were going to come in, I would just say come in at 5. Because if I'm paying you guys at 5, you might as well come in and clean the shop. But, I mean, it sounds funny, but right? I mean, if I come in at 6, but you're getting paid at 5, we'll come in at 5 and clean the bathrooms at 6. And that'll go on. I mean, you're getting paid regardless. But now that won't be an issue. It starts snowing at 5:30. I make a call. They're in at 6:30. That's when they start. And everybody, actually talk to the guys about this a little bit, and everybody's totally
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I would be in favor of scratching it because one thing that I'm just thinking of now is that second sentence. So that employee should be able to respond within 30 minutes. There's a principle called, bear with me. There's 2 types of employees: engaged to be waiting or waiting to be engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we put an employee with a time limit like that, we're now engaging them, and they're required to be waiting because they have to respond within 30 minutes. So then you would essentially have like an on-call principle that you're in effect affecting here.
So we need to work on this one.
Yeah.
Let's put that as a work on.
So D1. 5.06 D1. Okay.
We'll come up with some other language there.
One Dan could clean that one.
Yeah.
I would note to engage to be waiting or waiting to engage.
Okay. Alright.
Then on 5.07B, which would be 26 to 74, I guess my question with the flex time, it leaves it pretty open.
Which section again? Sorry.
5.07 sub
Page
B.
26.
5.07B. Okay.
Yeah. So looking on there, flex time may be used by salaried exempt employees in order to provide some measure of compensation for those hours worked in excess of 8 hours per day and or 40 hours per week. However, some overtime work is expected to be performed by salaried exempt employees without the expectation of additional compensation. As such, no hour-for-hour accounting of compensatory time for exempt employees will be kept. However, salaried employees may be eligible for flex time as authorized by the respective supervisors. When flex time is granted, it shall be granted at straight time, 1-for-1 rate. So what does that mean?
That means
That's
like for example, Joe and I are at town board meeting tonight. Let's say it went really late till 11 o'clock. You know, instead of coming in at our normal time, mine's 8:30, I would come in at 9:30. You know, just because it's a late meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just affords, you know, an extra hour in the morning.
You don't get any extra money, you just take time.
We just take
Hour for hour, or
flex
2 hours
time.
for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
And I do keep track just so that I know, you know, I'm not abusing anything. But when I started working on the handbook, it had come to my attention that 2 employees did not, let me say, how do I remember this? 2 employees were allowed to use this flex time option. 2 other employees are not allowed to use it, that when they had a night meeting like this and they came in an hour early, they were told they had to take vacation. Yeah, that's what I said. So we're just trying to get everybody doing things the same way.
I
Exactly.
mean, the only question I put here is it leaves it completely wide open. I mean, who determines it? Is it the administrator determines it? Right, but I mean, what kind of, I guess, do we have a standard, like, okay, if it's over 2 hours you do this, if it's, you know, at what point, how do you determine it? What's the criteria?
I've never had a criteria in my career. It's usually just a...
Does that leave us open for problems?
I haven't had any, ever.
I think
Well, that's,
to me,
but I
I
mean,
know,
you're
I
not,
know, but it could.
let's say you're not in that position,
Right.
and somebody's in that position and says, I
Yeah.
like this person, I don't like this person, so this person gets flex time, but this person doesn't get flex time.
That's what happened.
Right, and that's what but this doesn't clear that up,
Yeah.
does it? It leaves it wide open to happen again, that's what I'm questioning.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that's...
No, I agree with that. I don't think we can, I mean, right in here it says no hour for hour accounting of compensatory time for exempt employees shall be kept. You know, I guess, what is the line?
Right.
What is the standard?
but it's just salary. So it's all salary people.
Right,
Yeah.
so if a salaried exempt employee stays an hour outside of 8 hours of work, they should not be getting that hour back somewhere else.
Correct.
You know,
This is more for, like, you know, John works, you know, the whole weekend on Community Fest or Winterfest, or, you know, I have budget meetings, things like that. It's not, I stayed till 5:30, I'm going to take an hour tomorrow. That's not what this is for. This is for other longer times that you're spending at work that you're not anticipating having to spend longer than what normally you do. You know, does that make sense?
No, I'm more confused now.
Sorry.
I totally get what
Yeah.
the purpose is behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no criteria here that explains why one would get it and another. I mean, like, for example, Joe, he's here till midnight tonight because we got a long meeting. We argue back and forth forever and make no sense, but we're here till midnight. Well, he's going to be here tomorrow morning. I know he is.
Right.
Don't matter if you tell me to come in late or not. I know Joe's going to be here, but then,
Yeah.
let's say, you know, Amy's here and she doesn't come in or something. I'm just using
Right.
that.
Or me. I do it.
Right.
I come in a little bit later the next day.
So what do we give Joe? And I mean, he's going to come in no matter what. So then he gets extra time somewhere else. And how do we determine how much time that is?
The way
And I'm not saying that people here are going to do this.
No,
I'm
I
just-
know.
It's easy to use.
The way I've done it in the
Assume that he's got other duties
Right.
outside.
Well,
The way I've done it is we keep it in a pay period. So you can't say, okay, well, I had 3 extra hours in this week. I'm going to take it in 2 months. You have to take it within the pay period. So that's how I keep track of it with everybody. Oh.
What happens if you can't take it within the pay period?
Then you just don't get it. You just choose not to take the flex time.
What
So
if it's
are you
because
talking maybe extracurricular things like meetings?
Mm-hmm.
You know, mandatory meetings or stuff like that? Not just of, say, if Chris is in there and she's, whatever reason, got carried away and she has to stay an extra hour to finish her job.
she's hourly?
She's hourly. So this is just for salary people. Like, for example, with elections, when I was doing the clerk work, you know, you've got a lot of extra time in, you know, the Friday before, the day of, the day after, you know, with all the other hours that I'd put in between an 18-hour election day and all the other extra hours. When I would take the election results back to the county the day after, I would leave here at 1, I'd be done at the county by 2, and I would go home.
Yeah.
So it was a couple hours just because, you know, you're tired and you get a little bit extra rest and you come in refreshed the next day.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's arguing that.
No, I know,
point at
but I
all.
don't
It's
know
just
what-
you know, do we need to have more of a criteria for how this works?
So what were you going to say, Joe?
I've never had one. It just always worked.
Well, just kind of said that we're not debating that. I was just going to explain, like today, I came in at 2, because obviously it's snow, and then we finished about noonish. Well, I stayed till probably 2 to get myself up, so I left at 2 when normally I leave at 2:30, but I didn't. You know, so in essence, I work 12 hours when normally salary, sure, I 45 to 50 on average. You know, pull that out of the water. I'll never ever get my flex time all back, which I don't care. I'm not complaining. I want
nobody
to be
will.
caught up and know what I'm doing, and following is kind of relaxing to me and not a big deal. But either way, so it's like I get maybe to put some kind of a number on it, or be able to work it into the time card where you're throwing it somehow or something. Either way, yeah. For me, I know I'll never. You know what I'm saying? I'll just 100 hours of overtime or plowing a year. I'm not going to use that. You know, as time off.
Like, I keep track of it on my time card. You know, I have extra time and I'll write, you know, in late / town board meeting. And then it'll show, you know, however long I was here minus, you know, half an hour came in late.
We have a punch clock so at the shop, so I mean, when I come in this morning, too, boom, I hit it when I leave, you know, so it's all documented, the hours, but that's kind of how I keep track of those overtime hours. You know.
I'm not sure how to build criteria for that.
I'm not saying I know either. I'm just
I don't know.
looking at it because I know it was an issue in the past.
Yeah.
And this is nothing to point any certain individual out, but it's, you know, writing a manual that isn't made for, it's not only designed to be for the people we have hired now, it's designed for the future.
Right.
So, is it something that even needs to be there? Is it something that we're going too far on now? Not far enough? I don't know, how's everyone feel on this?
What about putting in a flex time line item where you have vacation, you know, just the salary, we have it on your time card as the, you know, breakdown. And then you could, you know, bank it in essence, but you'd have a max, you know, let's just say you work tonight for 4 hours, you put 4 hours in there and you can max it out at whatever you want. And then you just pull from that on your time card when you want, you know, one.
But it says in here not 1-to-1.
Right.
So it's kind of a.
Right. And like she said, it's only during a certain time, so it doesn't carry
But
on
who
and on and
determines
on.
what that time is, and who I mean, like John coming in for a weekend, if he does 8 hours on a Saturday, you know, what do we give him? 4 hours, 5 hours? How do you figure that out?
Yeah.
Because technically it's part of the job, but yet you want to give him something because he was here all weekend, but are you giving him a full day? And if you do, does that set up where the next person gets a full day, you know?
No.
Because if you don't treat everybody the same.
Since I've been working on this, maybe a couple hours John's taken, Joe and I.
mean, this current group doesn't abuse it, obviously, but if
Right,
this is going to
future.
be around for 50 years, then you better put something.
Manuals aren't written for employees who do their job.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like you should put something in there. You don't have to worry about it now, but how you run
But I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, John at the park thing this would be probably my prime example. If John's here for 16 hours on the weekend and we give him a couple hours, but like I'll use you're here for a couple extra hours at night and you take an hour in the morning, that's half for that, and that's
Right.
a very small fraction for John.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even. What's fair? How do you determine what's fair? And if somebody complains down the road, what position does that put us in?
I would say the
See, we
practice.
just take it out.
Well, I mean, you have to have something out of it.
No, I know.
I would say the practice of John being a salary employee and he's knowing that maybe he is going to work Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday. I mean, that would just be a schedule adjustment in a sense. Maybe he takes off on Tuesday when he's normally regular to be scheduled, where he off exchanges with himself.
Right.
And essentially he's present for his Wednesday on a Saturday.
Right.
When he's a normal.
Which I'd have no issue with whatsoever. It's just how do you determine what's what is what it comes down to, other than just paying
It's so
everybody hourly.
detailed, how do you do
And it's
that?
different for every person. You know, I'm not out there doing snow plowing and park work and events. I'm at a desk in a meeting.
Right.
You know, but when I get home from meetings, I can't sleep.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
your mind
especially
is
after a
going.
late one.
Yeah.
So it's when you have, you know, town board, plan commission, and a budget workshop all in 1 week. Yeah, I'm going to take a few hours off at the end of the week if I can.
Yeah, that's
being honest.
It's not a question of it happening. It's
Yeah.
a question of how you determine.
I don't know.
You know, I mean, we were very worried about a wedding barn and whether or not we're going to get sued for that. And this, I think, puts us at a higher liability
Right.
of getting successfully sued than what's going to happen over there.
By leaving it in or taking it out?
Well, by not having the criteria.
Oh. Well, I can
I'm
have.
just, and it maybe I'm overplaying this, and it isn't a big deal, but to me, it just stood out when I went through this.
Yeah. Right now, it's not a big deal, but you're right. It could happen in the future. You get one bad egg, and you know.
So maybe that's something we need
Takes
to talk
over.
to Dan about a little bit more.
Okay.
All right, I will make a note on that. Okay. Next.
Page 28 of 74, section 5.12, payment upon termination. And maybe this is just how it is, but I mean, as far as like if somebody is terminated for cause, it says in here that we're going to pay them their vacation and such,
It's only what's been accrued and unused.
even if it's terminated for cause, we do that?
Yeah.
Are you on section 512?
Yeah, 5.12.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Upon the death, retirement, termination, or resignation of the employee, the employer, in the event of death, the employee's spouse or other family member or employee's estate is required by law should be paid at the rate of pay in effect upon termination of his or her salary through the last day of employment, and any earned but unused or unpaid vacation entitlement. I guess just from in the private sector, if somebody is let go, we don't pay their vacation if it's for cause.
We can change it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just,
Yeah.
this is bringing up here. Maybe it's different here. Maybe I'm another one that doesn't need to be brought up at all, but how does the sheriff's department do it?
So you're saying for cause termination?
For cause termination.
I believe they'd still be entitled to it because it's a benefit earned during
Mm-hmm.
good employment.
Yeah. Well, they're active.
Because
Yeah.
essentially, I mean, the way we accrue vacation is at the town would be the year before to the year after, or the current year.
Right. And the way we do it, that's explained in the book in the benefit section, is you accrue it every month for the full month you work. So at the end of January, every regular full-time employee gets however many hours divided out by their vacation schedule, put in their vacation bank. So it's not like January 1, okay, you get 2 weeks, and you're going to take your 2 weeks, and then you quit. That will get taken off your last check because you only accrue it month by month by month.
Right.
So that's how we keep track of the vacation if somebody leaves mid-year and they haven't earned it all yet.
So we'll go with that one.
Yep.
Just going back to page 26 though on here, the salaried employees, I just think it should be in here that,
What section? Sorry.
I'm sorry, B, you know, a 507 on section B. Section 507.
The one we were just working on.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
You had mentioned that you have to take it in that time period.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be in here somehow.
Okay. I can add that.
Because otherwise, somebody thinks maybe they can sit on 2 hours here, 3 hours there, 5 hours here,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they collect all this stuff, and they're gonna, all of a sudden they want every day vacation.
Yeah. No, it's just within that 2-week
Right, I think that
bi-weekly
should
payroll.
be stated in here.
Okay. I can add that.
If you guys think so too. You think so?
I think something needs to happen with it. I don't know what.
Yeah.
So what happens if you accrue it on the last day of the paper?
Well, you gotta be reasonable out there.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what we're looking at, is how do you
Mhm.
regulate that, you know? You say just within 2 weeks of it being,
Maybe within 2 weeks,
you know,
yeah.
it's hard to say, but
Yeah.
that, I haven't had that happen.
Mm.
I mean, I guess
Well, now-
there's a,
We don't have meetings on Fridays and Saturdays, so.
Yeah.
but when do you do payroll?
Yeah. It hasn't happened.
Okay.
I mean, I think for these hours, there needs to be a delineation between essential work hours and I guess just putting in work to be good at your position.
Mhm.
I agree with that. Required to be
Yes.
here versus
Yes, you want to be here.
Right.
maybe not want to be here, but you need to be here to. I know what you mean.
I knew someone who worked overtime because she was kind of slow, and had to take up more time,
Yeah.
and that, you don't get extra time for that.
So, like, perfect example is I don't go home between work and the town board meetings. So even though I'm here between 4:30 and 6:30, I only count my 6:30 to whatever time the meeting is, because I choose to stay here for those 2 hours and work because it's quiet. I get a lot done in those 2 hours. So yeah, so I'm not including those in my work hours. I still put it on my time card to show I was here, but I'm not taking out of the I'm going to come in an hour late tomorrow because the meeting was late.
Right. And I don't think anybody's looking at that so much. It's
No.
just so much
No.
of how do we make sure it's fair and equitable and not get sued.
Yeah. I guess I've just gotten lucky all these years with that.
Next one I got is section 12.07, page 60 to 74.
12.07.
Well, we're moving up.
Yeah, pretty much the other part. I got one other thing in there, but it's kind of petty. So I'm just gonna ignore it.
VPN?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're only accessing the VPN through our laptops that we issue. Correct?
Yes, and this is the policy the board adopted sometime last year.
Okay.
Or 18? 19. Yep, this is the most up-to-date one in there. Yep.
Okay. Just don't want that happening again.
Neither do I. No, everything's working well with that.
Does it address that limitation on where to access it from?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of technical jumble in there. I just wanted to see what I was doing.
So when I remote in at home to work, there's a town VPN connection I have to connect to with a password, and then I have another connection I have to connect to with another password to get into my computer at work.
But you're using your town laptop.
I'm using my town laptop, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Where does it address we have to use a town device to access town VPN?
It's in there.
All
D.
hosts connected to the town's VPN via remote access must be on a town-issued device. No personal devices or computers are permitted.
Where are you?
D hosts.
Okay.
Bottom of page 60.
Okay. Okay.
So we have how many laptops? 3?
4 if you count Michelle. Do you have one?
Yep.
5, Doug. That's it.
So nobody from the fire department is accessing the VPN from the personal computers?
Only Michelle and I are accessing from home on
Town-issued laptops.
Right.
And everybody
Now,
from
there's we have like a lot of laptops out there, but they do not get those connections.
What do they do with them then? They're just going to check them. Why do they have laptops then?
Because they build all kinds of, like lesson plans and they do reports and they build, PowerPoint presentations. But a bit of stuff. I mean, they look at all
But they're using them at the station?
You have a few that are out there, but they're doing,
Yeah.
they're building all kinds of work. They're just not on, they're not
on the
into
virtual
the
machine.
server.
Yeah, it's to be like you going to Best Buy tonight and buying a laptop.
Oh, just a
It might be
standalone.
The only two people that are going into
Okay.
the server from home is Michelle.
They're not doing that.
Right.
Okay.
Right, okay. That's
They're
fine.
doing the work on their laptops. I mean, there's quite a few laptops out there.
Right, but it's not connected.
And every truck has laptops too.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. That's what I had, Alan. Page, it'd be page 69, it'd be 15.02. This is probably a little bit of a touchy one, but this has to do with weapons in the town hall.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically says that nobody, possession or control of any weapon or threatening use of a weapon, which is obvious, in the course of employment by town employees in any town facility during the performance of their job duties, whether on or off town property, is strictly prohibited except for the following. Use of a knife is a utility knife with blade no longer than 3 inches. Law enforcement officers, so you're good, Mark. This policy does not prohibit town employees from storing a weapon in their personal vehicle while the vehicle is on town property or while using their personal vehicle during the course of performance of job duties. Weapons stored in an employee's personal vehicle while the vehicle is on town property or while the vehicle is being used in the course of employment, the town must be secured in the vehicle. What about a CCW permit holder?
What do you mean? Someone has a permit?
Private carry, yeah.
Concealed carry. This basically says you cannot carry in the town lot, even if you're a CCW.
When the CCW came out, did the town ever take action to post?
Nope. But this conflicts that.
Okay.
And they don't have that at other stations either, although I have a subset SOG.
So this you're saying is stating they can't bring it in if they have CCW.
It doesn't. That's why I'm reading it. I mean,
Okay.
Doesn't say anything.
I'll have the lead look at it. Because there is one employee that does have their CCW, but they don't bring it in. But it is in their vehicle.
there was a point in time when 3 of your board members were
That's okay.
carrying it every meeting.
Fine with that.
You would have never guessed which 3.
I'd be alright with that.
But I mean, I just want to make sure that it's,
Yep.
you know, I don't want to restrict it personally. I don't know how the rest of the
No,
world
I
feels,
don't
but
either.
I mean, I think it's,
I don't
Not
either.
in this nutty world.
yeah.
I didn't mean to restrict it, but
Well, no,
yeah.
I read, you know, reading through it.
Yeah.
That's how I read that. I don't, Mark, if you
Mhm.
agree with that, but I just do not want to restrict that.
Did you add retired law enforcement as well?
So,
We're safe. We got 2.
okay. I think that's the main ones I had. I don't know if anybody's got anything else to look at.
There's just a lot to go over.
I know. That's why I started giving it to you in November. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And I mean, there's stuff in here that, you know, I'd take a break for a month and I'd look at it and, oh, I missed that too, and I'd change something again. And at one point I just had to stop.
Sure.
Otherwise I keep rewriting everything.
Okay. So,
So is the fire department benefits the way they're paid out? I know Michelle came up here and met, I believe with you, and
Same accrual.
so
Yep.
all those things are the same, it's just how they are delivered that's different.
Right.
So would that be written in there too? For the firefighters?
That'll be in your,
Like an addendum?
Yeah.
For the firefighters?
once we work on that. Especially with the difference in the 12-hour versus the 24-hour now. And, but she's got it all written down, but yeah, we need to formalize it. Yep.
okay. Well, do you want to take a look at those changes and bring that back? Okay.
Yes, we don't do anything with it tonight.
Correct.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're farther than we were.
Right.
Yep.
Does anyone have anything else to add?
No, I don't.
Right, so we'll bring those back so there'll be no action right now in the employee handbook. Item G, discussion necessary action to adopt the newly created employee benefits manual. So,
Oops.
this
All right.
one,
Same as before, everything that was in the manual regarding benefits that covers all employees that qualify for benefits were taken out of the old handbook and put into this new benefits handbook, which is going to be added to the new employee packet. So that this way, when the benefits changes, or let's say we change insurance companies, we don't have to pull out, 20 different parts of the handbook and readopt it. That just stays the same until we change something major in procedure. This is just specific to benefits. And this was created and reviewed by Horton, and Natasha and I have worked on it and made sure that all the numbers are right compared to what we're paying now. HSAs, time off, vacation schedules, retirement benefits. This was actually the easiest of all 3 items we worked on. Because this is stuff we work with every day, so we knew it inside and out.
okay.
So do they have a choice to which program they want to go with?
Yes and no. We had a discussion, was it 3 years ago, when we switched over to Anthem, and the employees all voted as a group which deductible plan they wanted to go to. We stuck with the high deductible, but there were different tiers, and we all voted the same. If somebody wanted to go outside of that and do something different, they would have to pay the difference.
Okay.
But right now, everyone's on the same plan.
So is that the preferred then? Gold blue or the silver blue?
That is the Anthem Gold Blue. Yep.
Then why do you have the silver blue here?
Because that's just how it was pasted in from the insurance documents. We couldn't cut it apart. It's one table just to show the differences, but everyone's on the gold blue preferred.
Okay.
Yep. So that when an employee comes in, if they wanted to pick the other one, the more, the higher one with the individual and the family, the silver blue, they would have to pay the differences. So this way they can see it. But we haven't had anybody do that.
Do they pay per month for this too?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that? Where am I missing that?
The health insurance deductions, they come out biweekly out of the checks.
Okay.
That should be in the employee handbook.
Okay.
Any comments or questions on the benefits?
So, just so we're on the same page, there's no benefits defined in the handbook that are then again defined in the manual?
Correct.
This will have to be updated yearly then.
Right. Yep. And that's something that Horton does. They know when the insurance amounts change or deductibles, they're going to update the document and send it back to us. Yep. We update the WRS amounts. That's about it.
Does anyone have anything else to add on the employee benefits?
No, I think it's very minor. In the handbook, it states employee benefits manual.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed on the first page of it defines it as a guide.
Done.
Oh, it should be manual. What page does it say guide?
On the first
It's on
picture.
the inside
Like
cover
the
of
first.
the Horton.
Missy.
Can you bring this back?
Yep.
Next week, or not next week, but the next meeting all together with the other agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's an easy change.
All right. So we'll take no action on that one either tonight, but we'll bring it back when the employee handbook. Keep them separate agenda items. Hopefully.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Whew, hard part's over. All right.
All right. Is Jim coming in, or is he?
Said he would be here around 7:30, but that's depending if his Johnson Creek meeting ran late or not.
All right. So we're going to go into a recess then until our attorney shows up because we cannot enter into closed session without him.
Motion for a recess.
Do we need one? Can I just grant one?
You can
I'm
grant
just going to grant the recess at 7:58.
it. Hold on.
See you, Jim.
Hi.
Bye.